bunch of the boys were whooping it up at the Malamute Saloon. The kid that played the music box was kicking out a jagtime tune. In the back of the bar at a solo game sat the dangerous Dan McGrew, and watching his luck was the light of love, the lady known as Lou. And out of the night, which was 50 below and into the dim and glare, stumbles a miner fresh from the creeks, dog dirty and loaded for bear. He looked as though he had a foot in the grave and scarcely the strength of a louse. Yet he tilted a poke of dust on the bar and calls for drinks on the house. There was none that could place a stranger's face, although we searched for a clue. But we drank to his health, and the last to drink was the dangerous Dan McGrew. There's some men who just grip your eye and hold him hard like a spell, and such was he, and it looked to me like a man who'd lived in hell, with a face most hair and a weary stare of a dog whose day is done. He watered the green stuff from his glass, and the drops fell one by one. And I got to figuring who he was and wondering what he'd do. And I turned my head, and there watching him was the lady known as Lou. His eyes went rubbery around the room, and they seemed in kind of a daze, until at last the old piano fell in the way of his wandering gaze. The ragtime kid was having a drink, and there was no one else at the stool, so the stranger stumbles across the room and flops down there like a fool. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat, and I saw him sway. He clutched the keys with his taloned hands. My God, the man could play. Have you ever been out in the great alone when the moon was awfully clear, and the icy mountains hemmed you in, and a silence you most could hear? With only the cry of the timber wolf, you camped there in the cold, a half-dead thing in a stark dead world, clean mad for the muck called gold. While high overhead, the green, yellow, and red, the northern lights they swept in bars. You had a hunch what the music meant: hunger, night, and the stars. But not the hunger of the belly kind that's banished with bacon and beans, but the hunger of a lonely man for a home that all that it means. For a far side far from the cares that are, 4 walls and a roof above. And oh, crammed full of cozy joy, crowned with a woman's love. A woman dearer than all of the world, and truer than heaven is true. God, how ghastly she looked through her rouge, the lady known as Lou. Then the music changed so soft you scarce could hear, and you felt your life had been looted clean of all that it once held dear. Someone had stolen the woman you loved, and her love was a devil's lie. Your guts were gone, and it was best for you just to crawl away and die. 'Twas the crowning cry of a heart's despair that had thrilled you through and through. I guess I'll make this spread Mizzow, said the dangerous Dan McGrew. The music almost died away. Then it burst like a pent-up flood, and it seemed to say, repay, repay, and my eyes were blind with blood. A thought came back like an ancient wrong, and it stung like a frozen lash. And a lust awoke, to kill, and the music stopped with a crash. The stranger turned, and his eyes, they burned in the most peculiar way. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat, and I saw him sway. His lips went in kind of a grin, and he spoke, and his voice was calm. He says, boys, you don't know me, and none of you give a damn, but I want to state my words are straight, and I bet my poke they're true, that one of you is a hound from hell, and that one is Dan McGrew. I ducked my head. The lights went out. 2 guns blazed in the dark. A woman screams. The lights come up. 2 men lay stiff and stark. Pitched on his head and pumped full of lead was the dangerous Dan McGrew, while the stranger from the creek's like clutched to the breast of the lady known as Lou. These are the simple facts of the case I guess I ought to know. They say the stranger was crazed with hooch. I'm not denying it so. I'm not as smart as those lawyer guys, but just between us two, the woman that kissed him and pinched his poke was the lady known as Lou. It's a Shooting of Dan McGrew by Robert Service.